to demolish illegal and unsafe structures at the Trade Fair complex in Ojo in a bid to restore order and enforce physical planning laws. Senior Special Assistant on New Media to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu Gawat, who confirmed the exercise in a post on X, said the operation was targeted at illegal developments, structures without statutory approvals, defective structures and buildings erected on road setbacks and drainages. According to him, the government could no longer fold its arms while unapproved developments blocked critical infrastructure and endangered lives. The operation was jointly carried out by the Ministry of Physical Planning, Lagos State Building Control Agency, Lagos State Urban Renewal Agency, and the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority. Also present were the Office of Infrastructure, members of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and security agencies who provided backup during the exercise. Bulldozers were seen pulling down marked structures, while some traders and shop owners looked on with concern over the impact on their businesses. The Sanwo-Olu administration has consistently warned residents against erecting buildings without proper approvals or blocking drainage channels, stressing that such violations contribute to flooding, traffic congestion, and urban disorder in Lagos State. The removal of these structures is part of the state's ongoing efforts to protect infrastructure and safety, as Lagos remains highly congested and illegal developments blocking drainage and roads only compound flooding, traffic gridlock, urban disorganization. However, past exercises have triggered backlash from displaced residents who claimed loss of homes and insufficient notice. In Shoki, for instance, many said they were not given adequate time to relocate or safeguard their buildings. Well, as the amnesty ended last bar, began active removal of illegal constructions across the city, especially in areas where structures obstruct drainage channels, block road setbacks, or are deemed unsafe or defective. The Lagos State government said they will continue to read the state of illegal structures that may cause disorganization in the state. However, clamors have called about those who actually give permit for those buildings to be erected in the first place. Others are attributing ethnic coloration to the situation. However, the state government says there is no ethnic coloration to it. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has announced a $10,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of a Nigerian, Olumide Adebiyi Adediran, wanted in the United States for multiple fraud offenses. According to the statement on the FBI's website on Wednesday, Adediran faces charges of bank fraud, identity document fraud, credit card fraud in connection with alleged crimes committed in Illinois as far back as 2001. The 56-year-old, who also goes by several aliases including Kevin Olumide Adediran, Eric O. Williams, Maxo Alexander, Olumide Atkins, and Edward N. Anderson, is accused of attempting to cash fraudulent checks using stolen identities of U.S. citizens to open bank and credit accounts. Now, according to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Adediran fled the Central District of Illinois in December 2001, shortly before his trial was due to begin. A federal arrest warrant was subsequently issued on January 2, 2002 for violation of the conditions of release. However, Adediran on January 2, 2002, while the federal warrant was issued for his conscription, the Illinois said that they had charged him for violation of conditions of release. The FBI noted that Adediran has ties to South Florida, remains on its wanted list, and they described him as being 5'11" tall, weighing 200 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. The FBI urged anyone with information on his whereabouts to contact its offices in the United States or the nearest American embassy or consulate. Now, Nigerians may face fresh power outages as the National Union of Electricity Employees commenced an indefinite strike on Wednesday over unresolved welfare demands, including the non-implementation of the national minimum wage and alleged casualization of workers. Well, industrial action was announced in a notice signed by NUEE's Acting General Secretary, Dominic Igwebike, who said the strike followed the expiration of the union's ultimatum to the management of the transmission company of Nigeria. NUEE insisted that the strike was necessary to protect workers' rights and salvage the Nigeria electricity supply industry from total collapse. The union directed all its members nationwide to stop work immediately until management is ready to address their grievances. This is not the first time electricity workers have shut down operations over welfare concerns. In June 2024, the NUEE embarked on a similar strike which disrupted electricity supply across the country. They have actually called for a call to action provision for non-implementation of national minimum wage, casualization of workers, non-provision of working tools and materials, non-payment of staff salaries since April 2025, lack of operational vehicles, non-provision of PPE since 2021, issues arising from the unbundling of TCN, and non-payment of retirement benefits. Moving on to Osun State, the government there has expressed concerns over reports that the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, wrote to President Bola Tinubu demanding the release of withheld local government funds to accounts allegedly operated by sacked council chairmen and councillors from the All Progressives Congress. In a letter dated September 24, 2025, signed by the State Council Musbao Adetumbi, the government asserted that such move was inconceivable, considering that there were still pending cases at the Supreme Court. The letter reminded Edun that the countries of the state's Attorney General had already filed a case at the Supreme Court to challenge the seizure and proposed disbursement of the fund. The state argued that releasing the funds before the court rules on the matter would undermine the principles of justice and the rule of law. According to the government, judgments by both the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal have already removed the APC chairman and councillors from office. It stressed that the funds belong to the people of Osun and are meant to support farmers, market women, teachers, health workers, pensioners and children, not politicians, lawfully sacked by the courts. The state therefore urged the minister to ensure that Osun receives its monthly allocations through the state local government joint account as is done in other states. The legal team also warned that releasing the money to the sacked officials would be a grievous assault on the rule of law and called on the minister to withdraw any letter already sent to the president. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has expressed concerns about variations in project costs when they are awarded for a long term. Wike made this known during the flag-off of the construction of Arterial Road number 20 Solomon Lar Way from Road number 5 Obafemi Awolowo Way to the Airport Expressway. Wike stated that he is always afraid when projects are awarded for 2 years or 3 years because he dislikes variations. He says that he will actually love to sit down again to reconsider and make sure that available funds are released so that there will be no excuses, and that by the time the road is complete, this 20 starting from number 5, of course everybody will know based on the construction already ongoing. Wike disclosed that the 16 days earmarked for the commissioning of projects has shown the level of jobs created for youth of the capital city. Meanwhile, the former Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Timmy Frank, has called on President Tinubu to urgently address allegations linking Wike to hidden property acquisitions in Florida, the United States. In a statement today, he warned that the president's silence over the matter was troubling, especially given the detailed reports from credible platforms. Elsewhere, former Vice President Atiku on Wednesday declared his participation in the African Democratic Congress stakeholders meeting in Abuja alongside the likes of former Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir Rufai. In a post on his official X account today, Atiku described the meeting as a gathering of Nigerians committed to challenging the oligarchs who promote poverty and insecurity. According to him, he wrote, "I am currently at the stakeholders meeting of the Coalition African Democratic Congress in Abuja. It's a meeting of the Nigerian people against the oligarchs who promote poverty, insecurity in the land." Atiku's presence at the meeting signals his deeper involvement in ADC's evolving role as a coalition platform ahead of the 2027 polls. Others at the meeting include the former Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal, former Minister of Communications and Digital Economy from 2019 to 2023, Isa Ali Pantami, and former Governor of Kwara State, Abdul Fattah Ahmed. Meanwhile, the former Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje on Thursday also attended a critical stakeholders meeting of the APC in the state. The meeting actually represents the first significant political meeting to be attended by Ganduje since resigning as the APC national chairman in June 2025. Now, in a very recent press release, Atiku's media office issued a disclaimer on Kola Johnson, blaming the presidency for such intrusion. They say the presidency engaged in high-level propaganda disinformation against Atiku. They wrote that we have observed with concern a certain self-styled media consultant, one Kola Johnson, issuing press releases in the name of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Based on the findings, it points directly to the presidency, which is in its desperation to smear opposition leaders has resorted to hiring faceless mercenaries to fabricate fake stories and circulate unauthorized statements on Atiku. Particularly offensive is a false claim attributed to this individual that an Atiku administration would be dominated by a single ethnic group. This disinformation is part of a calculated propaganda project designed to ridicule Atiku in the media. He wrote, "Let it be clear, Atiku Abubakar has never engaged One-Collar Johnson as a media consultant, aide or associate. Any statement issued in that name is fake and should be disregarded, urging media houses that have published such stories to immediately retract them, cautioning Nigerians in the media to remain vigilant against the propaganda schemes of this administration, which now include circulating fabricated statements through compromised journalists. For the record, authentic information from Atiku is only released through the Atiku Media Office, signed by his advisor, Paul Ibe, or the Special Assistant on Public Communications. Editors and media gatekeepers are therefore strongly advised to verify with the AMO before publication." This statement, a press release, was signed by Paul Ibe. And still on Atiku Abubakar, the media aide to the former Vice President, Paul Ibe has alleged that the ruling All Progressives Congress has commenced a process of rigging the 2027 general elections. Ibe made the remarks during an interview on the African Settings Exchange show on YouTube. Atiku's aide stated that the president-led government has nothing to show after more than 2 years, and they are working hard to ensure that there is no opposition, whether it's in the independent media, civil society or political parties. That is what they are doing. According to eBay, the battle against opposition figures is because they, the APC, have nothing to offer after 2 years retaining mandate. Also, he accused the president of running a dictatorship, saying Nigeria's fallen pro-democracy icons will be horrified by the current state of affairs. He lamented that the democratic gains secured at great human cost were being eroded under the present administration. The spokesman recalled sacrifices made by notable Nigerians, including the late MKO Abiola, Major General Shehu Yarodua, and many activists who lost their lives in the struggle for democracy. Now, the former Minister of Sports and Youth Development, Solomon Dalong, has accused the federal government of deliberately shielding financiers of terrorism despite repeated promises to publish the names and prosecute them. While Dalong, in a letter to Nigerians on Wednesday shared on the Plateau NUJ platform, said rather than confronting the issue, leaders have resorted to diversionary politics. The former minister cited several allegations that have lingered without action, including accusations linking some politicians to banditry. He recalled that the United Arab Emirates once submitted a list of Nigerian terrorist financiers to Abuja, but to this day, those names have neither been published or prosecuted. This failure, according to Dalong, is not a mistake, however, reflecting deliberate complicity. Dalong took aim at Honorable Yusuf Gagdi, chairman of the House Committee on Navy, accusing him of leading a distraction campaign against state police while his constituency remains ravaged by kidnappings and killings. The ex-minister dismissed Gagdi's argument that governors cannot be trusted with state police as weak, inconsistent, and lazy. Dalong further questioned what had become of the 3.10 trillion naira defense budget for 2025, lamenting that frontline officers remain poorly equipped while terrorists wield superior weapons. You're currently listening to the World News right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM, and it's time for a news analysis segment. I'm right here in the studio with Mr. Dele Fanimo. He's a political, national, and social affairs commentator. Mr. Dele Fanimo, good evening and thank you for joining us today.
Good evening, Esther.
Good evening. I'm going to start off with the situation in Lagos State. Very recently, we heard about the demolitions along Trade Fair at Ojo local government, and a lot of people have been criticizing the exercise by the Lagos State government, saying that most times when they carry out this exercise, after possibly during the raining season, after the raining season is over, they abandon those places and then buildings are re-erected again. Others are questioning the Lagos State government that marked those buildings for demolition. Why have they not prosecuted those who had given these individuals the licenses to erect those buildings? Usually, I heard about more than 150 million naira gone down the drain. If you had seen the video, some of the structures are not yet complete, some are completed, and it was quite sad and unfortunate because the business owners said they were not even given any adequate information for them to clear their stock from some of the buildings, and everything went down. So my question, because I recall when the Commissioner of Environment Tokumbo Wahab commenced this job, when this demolition started across some areas in Lagos State, the question they asked was, this person's claimed they got certified approval from the state government. In fact, Tokumbo Wahab himself actually affirmed that he saw the certificates of either occupancy, ownership of these buildings, and indeed they had legitimate signatures from the Lagos State government, from the office of the Lagos State government, meaning that approvals were actually given for this buildings to be erected. He got to a point that they even had to stop in some instances and just continue with it because they were replanning. So my question to you is that this is not the first time things like this happen. They say these buildings are blocking channels, but somebody is approving the erecting of these buildings along those routes, and then ethnic colorations are already being targeted in the whole thing.
You see, this is corruption at work. And you see, at the heart of this is the fact that there is no consequence for infraction. When you begin to play nepotic card in the discharge of your duties, when you begin to consider religious considerations and all those extraneous things that you could censor you from doing your job the proper way, this is what you get. If the commissioner, as you have said, had affirmed that some of those approvals actually emanated from government. Government is not an abstract. It is the combination of people that are civil servants, public officials, that make up the government. Now, are we saying that it's a ghost worker that signed those documents? If not, these workers, are they still in the ministries? Shouldn't they have been questioned? Shouldn't they have been queried? And shouldn't they have been rewarded accordingly through suspension, interdiction, or outright dismissal? But we have not heard about all this. And so, it's a premise for those who would come after these people that they can get away with all this. It's a very good premise for
19
them.
buildings, Mr. Dilifanimo, the Trade Fair Complex. 19 buildings. And you see these buildings, they're already stuck up high. I don't know what the process is, because I don't know the persons who own these buildings, because the attachment is quite funny. Lagos is a multicultural state that, actually accommodates.
Cosmopolitan city.
So they actually are the ones that advertise, come and invest in our state. Come and do your businesses with us. We'll sign agreements. You give our people employment opportunities and all whatnot. So it's worrisome because these structures are very visible. Do you know how it is to build in Lagos State in a very visible area, an area that has a lot of traffic and engagement? Do you know that from the foundation of that building, there is no day the state government will not come and visit your building? They come at every interval to visit. When they visit, you have to show permits, you have to show whatever the plan, if you're going according to the plan of the building of that whatever. So you can't say that while those people were building all of that the state government did not visit. Both Omonileo, those that own the land, those that don't own the land, the state government too, they come there, they visit. And when they visit, the people that are building will give them something. That one, there is no doubt about it. They pay tax on that while the building is ongoing. So if all of this process was ongoing, state government officials are visiting, then tell me how come all of a sudden you say these buildings are blocking road channels? You didn't follow the blueprint before you erected the building. Somebody approved all these things. So the person that approved it, the officials at Alausa, at the Lagos State government, the Commissioner for Urban Housing and Development, all those people, obviously their signatures will be on whatever documentation is required. Will they call them out? Will they be sued to court? Will they be prosecuted? Will they pay back these people their money, all the money that they've invested in those buildings? It's quite disheartening if you look at the situation.
Esther, I have said it. You're just about repeating what I've said. The summary of it is, whoever is found culpable in all this process must be brought to book. and appropriate sanctions meted out to
after
them.
people's properties have been destroyed.
You can sue.
What million? How you know how the justice system is?
I said you can sue. Don't assume.
Mr. Delifani.
We have seen cases. Somebody who is not a known and popular lawyer in this country took VIO to court and he got justice. Somebody who is almost innocuous in this country took Federal Road Safety Corps to court and he got justice. So it's not all the time that you don't get justice. But somebody has to take the risk of doing it and let's get the outcome. Some people went to industrial court, lawyers defended them pro bono, and they got as much as 40 million naira in compensation and damages. So for me, I will not, without trial, I won't judge. Let them go to court. Let them go to appropriate places.
Now,
let them engage. Look, let them engage the media. Let's see the papers. You see, we are only relying on hearsay now.
No, it's not hearsay. The government has actually confirmed everything that is going on.
You see what I'm saying?
And they've confirmed that indeed people, onlookers, business owners, a couple of them were even bringing out their documents while all that was ongoing. Some of them said that even if some of the structures
there must be notice before the demolition.
Some of them said they weren't notified.
That cannot happen.
Some of them said they weren't notified, and they couldn't even allow them to take some of their stuff.
I said, state government will not wake up one day and that same day decide to deploy bulldozers.
Let me give you an instance. You know the one that is happening at Computer Village. All the stakeholders involved, everyone was informed. The relocation process is something that has started for a very long time.
And they're even giving them 18 months.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. They have been informed way back. That is the process. You want to locate them to another location because you want to do something where they are. There was due process followed. Information was garnered. They engaged stakeholders. They were not unilateral in their decision. Why is the same thing not applied in this?
Esther, truth be told, perhaps I'm a reporter.
Okay, perhaps you're a reporter.
I am a reporter.
You said perhaps. Perhaps means maybe you're a reporter.
Well, since I've exited active reporting.
Okay.
But then, I'm a journalist and I feel that, you see, there's always the other side to a story, no matter how beautiful, no matter how gory. What I'm saying is, at the risk of playing the devil's advocate, I can tell you for free that Lagos state government is too sophisticated to wake up one day, deploy bulldozer without notice to those who own those property.
Are you sure, Mr.
I am absolutely sure.
If you have
anything, you know, the problem with us, do you know it? I'll give you an example. There is a place called Bashoru in Ibadan. Before Ajimobi came, nobody knew that those people that built close to the road were contravening government master plan that was there more than 40 years before Ajimobi came. And so, when houses were being marked for demolition because they wanted to expand the road to a dual carriageway, those who knew that they contravened the law, they never went to challenge it. Those who didn't know, who probably bought the house from the original owner without any check, they went to challenge it and they showed them documents. Everybody went their way. Nobody was compensated. It's a stretch of road that is about 3-4 kilometers.
Mr. Delifani, are you aware that there are some lands and properties in Lagos where, because of land grabbers and the fact that they have access to security and police, go there and displace people? And at the end of the day, the Lagos state government will tell you another way. Are you aware of what happened at Owodi, Oniwe, where somebody imported police from another state to come and get properties, where they even shot at people? They bulldozed properties down that very day. Do you know, because of that and even some other cases that has led to illegal demolition, the Commissioner of Environment had even asked for a pause in some demolitions right now because some of them were not properly rectified from the state government.
Those who did that demolition, Lagos State couldn't have gone to another state to import from another police command. What I'm telling you, this is a private matter that has nothing to do with the Lagos State government. And the owners of this property, if they know that they are new owners, look, let me tell you, you see, it's just like when I was covering police early in my career, I noticed one thing.
Okay.
When a suspect is face to face with a reporter, the kind of lies it will tell you, you would abuse the IPO, you will almost want to slap the DPO, that why are you punishing this man unjustly? But let them confront the same police that interrogated them with facts and evidence. You will even say, why are you still keeping this man? He should be in jail, or he should even face firing squad. You see, don't listen and then take things hook, line, and sinker. I am not going to be party to it.
All right.
And that is why anytime there is an issue, I look at that issue dispassionately.
Okay, let's see how it goes. But then a couple of Nigerians especially have said if the state is really not interested in attracting development and infrastructure, whatever,
there is no way the state will
inform people that they should actually, they don't want that.
No.
Or there should be an official channel whereby if after the administration is done and another administration comes on board and they have their own priority or prerogative, it's government in continuum. It's not a situation where another administration comes and this administration had approved that, okay, this particular axis development can take place, development commences, another administration comes and says, no, you people staying here, it's illegal. They start demolition, because that's what is happening. The previous administration actually approved some of the structures.
Esther,
sir,
early in my career, I was briefly like about 3 years in the civil service.
Okay.
So I know the procedure. Do you understand? There's always a file.
Exactly.
And if a new officer, let's not talk about administration, if a new officer is coming to a ministry, the first thing he does is to study all these files and equip himself with adequate information before he can even begin to minute on files. So, like you said, government is a continuum. And I tell you, some of these people that are giving you information as if government is clamping down on them, you find out that they take risk thinking that government will not look their way. If you are building on the right of way that could cause flooding, that could generate tsunami, that can sweep off over 100 persons in one day, and somebody says this thing has to be relocated or moved out of way, that person is not wrong. I'm
not saying the person is wrong, Mr. Dele. What happened to the monitoring when those people were building?
Why
when
some
you
of
saw
them,
people building, you're supposed to tell them to, you can come with your bulldozer and say we will. This is wrong.
Now let me give you.
They follow this process.
Let me give you an example again. Where I originally wanted to buy a piece of land to build my house in Ibadan, I was at the verge of, if it was these days that you can do transfer in the comfort of your home, those people would have swindled me. At the point we were discussing and we had already settled the terms of payment, something just told me that I should call my friend's wife who works in Ministry of Lands in Oyo State. And as soon as I called her and I described the place, you know what she said? Don't go near that place. It's government acquired land. Not many people are lucky
to know that.
Do you know that over 70 houses were demolished years after in that estate that was originally acquired by government? But Omonile, that had got, their father got payment for that acquired land, still went back to sell the land. So that's why you need to ascertain.
So you're saying that some persons, the government would have sorted them out.
Yes.
But they will still resell that property.
You know, their father or their grandfather have properly collected money from government. But they didn't pass information to their generation. It could be the third generation. And in fact, let me also shock you. Where I built my land, my property after acquiring it from supposedly legitimate person. This man was a lawyer, and he was the one that went to court to represent the family.
Okay.
And because they couldn't pay him, they gave him a large swath of land in lieu of payment, and agreements were signed. And when they wanted to encroach on that land, that man was still vibrant. He went to court and got judgment of the High Court, State High Court. Years after, that man was weak. He was in his 90s. Do you know what happened? That same family that collected money, that gave him that land, went back to court, told the court that the man was not alive anymore. And they got judgment against that lawyer that originally owned the land. Do you know, as I speak with you, I bought that land twice with 2 judgments in my hand as I speak for me to build. So when people talk, I don't take such on the surface.
All right.
I want to find out.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Delifanimo. We're going to reach out to those individuals. We've actually started reaching out to their
let them bring documents.
They are I will let all the documentation because they are currently there monitoring the demolition process. So I contacted like 2 of them who actually have properties there. They're just monitoring the demolition process. We will be inviting them here, or they will send us their documentation, whichever way, between tomorrow or Monday thereabouts or next week.
Esther,
yes. All right.
That is my forte. Investigative reporting.
No, obviously that's what we do.
You understand? I would even
like to be here. Okay, very good, because we've already done that. Mr. Delifanimo, the Nigerian Union of Electricity Employees are saying they're embarking on strike, and based on that, there's a possibility that there will be, blackout across the country because they want to down their tools. They say, according to them, the industrial action was necessary because they had actually notified the state government or the federal government based on certain demands, and based on that, nothing has actually happened. Well, for them, they listed the fact that non-implementation of the national minimum wage, casualization of workers, non-provision of working tools and materials, non-payment of staff salaries since April 2025, lack of operational vehicles, non-provision of PPE since 2021. So the announcement was done and signed by the NUEE's acting general secretary Dominic Igwebike, who said the strike followed the expiration of the union's ultimatum to the management of the Transmission Company of Nigeria. I don't know if this if this contributes, because since almost 2 or 3 days now, my area, there's been no electricity. I thought that possibly it's because of the rain, but right now with this news, it could be that this is one of the reasons.
Esther.
Sir?
There will be more questions than answers. Now, NUI, as it stands today, the nucleus of NUI are junior workers.
Okay.
Most of their jobs had been outsourced by the discos and gencos. So why are they fighting with government? There's no way you can win that battle. How many people now work with government that are in NUI?
All right.
It's just like, apart from NNPC, it's just like Pengassin saying they're going on strike.
I really do hope that the government negotiates. We can't have issues with power. We cannot just have issues
even when
with
they didn't go on strike. How many hours of power do you get?
There's been a little improvement in some axes, especially in Lagos. I don't know about other states, but I do hope, please, to be
Are you aware that Lagos state government is also injecting certain number of megawatts into the national grid through PPP? Through PPP, you see, there are so many dynamics. It's just that the other day that some miscreants purporting to be Nupeng and PTD saying they want to block the gantry of Dangote. I looked at them. If I were Dangote, I would deploy soldiers.
All right, let's look at a stakeholders meeting that was held today. Issa, Pantami, Rufai, and Atiku were in that meeting, but Peter Obi wasn't there. Lately, we've not been seeing Peter Obi along with these guys, only aside from Rotimi Amaechi's son's wedding that he recently attended. A couple of people think that the kind of politics that Peter
Obi knows that they want to use him. Because everything is tilted towards Atiku's presidency.
But you know, yesterday we saw a report. We discussed it here.
And let me also warn here.
To a certain ethnic group.
Rufai will betray Atiku one more time.
Why?
Rufai.
How?
Go and look at his history in governance and politics. How many people he had betrayed. Atiku brought Rufai into government during Obasanjo's regime. What was he doing before he was brought into government? And what did he do to Atiku at some point? We are waiting.
Okay, but
Peter Obi is smart. Now he knows that his association with them would denigrate his integrity. And that's why he's trying to. And that's why he's so smart that he has not left Labour Party.
You know, I think at the first instance, it was actually an issue because, you know, Malami, for example, Malami was a former Attorney General of the Federation, right?
Yes.
Or Accountant General of the Federation.
No, Attorney General.
Attorney General of the Federation. He was part of those that was involved in the extraordinary rendition of Nnamdi Kanu, right?
Yes.
Was it not him during the Buhari's administration?
Of course.
Where there were several appeals for him to see how they could politically resolve the issue. He refused. So a couple of people were surprised that Peter Obi would want to associate with a person in that coalition.
You see,
then aside from that, he's been accused of some financial embezzlement and money laundering too.
Of course.
So that has not been resolved. So it's now like, how are this set of persons saying they want to do something different from what this current administration is doing if a couple of them have attributes that you are attributing to the current administration in terms of financial misappropriation, corruption, rigging of elections and all that? So what makes you different? What gives you a different color?
You see, I'm happy you are asking this question.
No, I had to ask. The reason why I'm asking is that they held this meeting together. Recently, they've been meeting together often, Atiku and Rufai. Peter Obi has not been in the mix lately. And in fact, he has been silent in that regard, in terms of any conversation along with them.
Because it's known that, number one, an Atiku will not feel Peter Obi as his vice.
He will not feel Peter Obi as his vice?
Yes.
Peter Obi has said he's not even going to be
I said vice. That even if he agrees, last minute, he will not field him.
Really?
Yes. Because he will not... What he did to Obasanjo, he will not want Peter Obi to do to him.
I don't know. What does that mean? I don't get.
For Obasanjo to get second term in 2007, I mean 2003, openly at the delegates conference, at the meeting, he knelt down to beg Atiku because it was already a formidable stumbling block for Obasanjo's regime. And you think somebody like that would want to have somebody as smart as Peter Obi, that is even smarter than him, that is more intelligent than him?
So you're saying
as his vice?
You think that Peter Obi as a vice would be a stumbling block to his presidency? Or
what I'm saying is that when you caught somebody with a machete, if you see any person holding a machete, the tendency is for you to think that he's coming after you.
Oh well, Peter Obi has said he's not going to be a vice, in as much as we heard from
even if he says he wants to be a vice, Atiku will not pick him.
Atiku will not pick him?
Yes.
Well, that ship even sailed in 2019.
And I know from his body language lately that he knows the game. And some other people in his camp would have sat him down and analyzed the whole thing. What I'm telling you here, authoritatively, that an Atiku, if he gets ADC ticket, would rather pick somebody who is a minor, who will be his yes man for the 4 or 8 years he wants to spend, than pick a Peter Obi that is more intelligent, that everybody look up to.
Well, do you think that's why Peter Obi has inquired? Although he told us by November we would know the political party he'll be running with. Do you think that's the reason why he has been quiet? Because a couple of people think that the announcement of the coalition and Peter Obi being part of it was to draw attention to the party. You know, for all eyes to resonate with the party. The supporters of each of them have decided to join the ADC. So some persons who have joined, some persons who have supported either Atiku, Amaechi or Peter Obi, who joined the coalition, if one of them decides to leave that coalition, to run with another political party, what happens? Because a lot of them try to join. In fact, there was a complaint one time when the Obedience were saying that they were not giving them top positions within the ADC. So if that was the case, then are we saying that they wasted their time having to hustle or jostle for any form of position in the ADC? And all the galvanizing and creating awareness about the political party, the ADC, will it be for naught if eventually he doesn't run with the ADC? Like you said, the ADC could be a vehicle for Atiku's presidential ambition.
It is not going to be, it is going to be a vehicle. And he knows the people that would go with him on that journey, that would travel with him. And Peter Obi is not one of them.
Wow.
You know that I've always told you here, all my predictions about ADC, have they not come to pass?
It's still unfolding.
This one again, this night, watch it.
Okay.
Because we have dealt with them for a long while for us to know how they plan their things, how they strategize. I've been in several strategic political meetings in the past, and I'm still involved till tomorrow.
So how did the information yesterday go viral, and then he's debunking that it's not true, that he appealed to the Yorubas that the Hausa Fulani will not dominate his administration? Because I was so shocked.
That's not the first time Atiku will recant. That's not the first time. He was just flying a kite.
So you think he was testing the waters?
Yes, because it didn't resonate. That's why he had to quickly withdraw. Politicians.
That was something.
Winston Churchill said, if we don't trust ourselves as politicians, how would you trust us? The electorate.
How would you trust us? Well, finally, before I let you go, Mr. Dele Fanimo, Solomon Dalong is asking why the names of the 400 names given to the federal government of Nigeria by the United Arab Emirates and those who are sponsoring terrorism, why their names have not been released. We saw a video very recently of the Nigerian army. I think they saw is a footage of Boko Haram approaching either a post, an outpost, or a base in numbers, but that they did not alert them at the base. Well, what does that even mean?
You see, there is an international bent to all of this.
Really?
Yes.
Up till now?
Yes.
Mr. Dele Fanimo, are people's lives a business franchise for certain elements to retain power? Because you can't tell me that our military, up to now, they're still battling to resolve this. It almost feels like they're a caricature of themselves with all the monies allocated to them in the budget for security and defense. Mr. Dele Fanimo, every budget, its defense takes the highest. So with all of that money, they still cannot read out these guys?
They cannot.
The president cannot be firm or as assertive in ensuring that they get them out.
We are praying that we will have the courage.
Why wouldn't he have the courage? If he had the courage to announce that fuel subsidies removed, why is that courage not there for this one?
That is something that is still subject to be debated. But the truth about it is, I've not seen the president showing that courage.
That's what I'm asking. The president knew that a lot of people were not happy with the subsidy removal, even if he had promised. But on that day, on that very, very day, on May 29, it was not even part of his inauguration speech. The president said fuel subsidy is gone. He knew what the consequences were going to be, but he braced it. So why can't he brace this one? Where is that courage that is needed? That was one thing that Nigerians felt this administration will be able to handle. Since the previous administration, there were talks that there was an Islamization agenda. But they felt like this administration would be more assertive, firmer in dealing with these guys. So it's our people's lives at the expense of some certain politicians to retain power?
There are more questions than answers.
All right, Mr. Dele Fanimo, thank you so much for taking your time and giving us your perspective to some stories read out on the World News at 6. I sincerely do appreciate your input.
It's always my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
But don't forget my predictions.
Oh, obviously, you'll be here. We'll be discussing them. And that's a wrap on the World News at 6. My name is Esther Wachuku. Good evening. Thank you for listening to Stay With Us for the Evening Rush at 7.